Welcome in, everybody. It's the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. I'm your host, Coach Matthew Mitchell. We are thrilled, as always, that you have joined us this week. And a couple of episodes ago, on our January 1st episode, we introduced you to our Ready to Win 20-Day Habit Builder, wanting to help you get off to a good start to 2025. That's a great episode to go back and listen to, and you can get all the details. But here is the Cliff Notes version of the 20-Day Habit Builder. Of course, so many people go into the new year thinking about resolutions, making positive changes in their life. And what we wanted to do with the Habit Builder is we wanted to make a shift. We wanted to make a shift from the resolution mindset that's so much tied into, did I get the resolution? Did I complete the resolution? Did I achieve the resolution? Did I do it or did I not do it? Sort of an all or nothing mindset. It either got done or it didn't. 80%, I saw this, 80% of the resolutions are cooked by the second Wednesday in January. They call it quitting day. What a terrible day to be a part of, but 80% of them are cooked. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but you understand what's going on. There's other studies that say only 4% of resolutions are completed. And so what I wanted to do for you was to give you a framework where you could start building some habits. And there is a difference between just habits and making the transition and making the leap to what are really helpful habits. Because let's face it, we all have habits. We all have habits, and so many of the things that we do are habitual. And so what we're trying to do with the Habit Builder is build helpful habits, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But in the 20-Day Habit Builder was all about getting prepared in 5 key areas of life: in our spirit, in our emotions, in our health or our physical body, in our professional expertise or competency, and in the leisure part of our life, the fun that we can have. In 3 of those areas, in our spirit, in our emotion, and in our professional competency, we're just trying to build those habits, good habits, every day of the work week. Most of us work 5 days of the week. So whatever those 5 days are, just trying to get you to engage 10 minutes a day in those 3 areas that are going to help you build some habits. So I am working on my spirit, strengthening my spirit. I'm working on strengthening my emotions. I'm doing something that adds to my professional competency. And you can, again, get all these details in the January 1st episode. And then, so that's 5 days a week. That's 10 minutes a day on those 3 areas. And then two of those areas in our health, we wanted you, and I want you to move for 30 minutes 3 times a week. And then 3 times a week, I want you to take a break for 10 minutes at a time and have some fun and plan a trip, learn a new language, listen to a podcast that's funny and has nothing to do with work or anything like that, but just have some fun and start to build those habits, because those are the 5 areas in life that when they're functioning at a high level, we're moving forward. And that's what we want to do here on the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show, using the winning tools: honesty, hard work, discipline, using the content from my latest book, Ready to Win, how great leaders succeed through preparation. And so that's what we want to do each and every week. And so that 20-Day Habit Builder is something you can start anytime. You can start any Monday of any week. It doesn't have to be January the 1st, but as we've been focused on that this month, I wanted to give you the qualities of helpful habits and talk to you about the difference between a helpful habit and an unhelpful habit. Because, again, we are habitual in what we do, and habits are a part of our life. And what we want to focus on is getting into helpful habits. So let me tell you a story about habits. When I was a kid living in Louisville, Mississippi. I've said this before, and if it's the first time you ever listen to the podcast, that's okay. But I'm from a small town, Louisville, Mississippi, East Central Mississippi, the rolling red hills of East Central Mississippi, out in the middle of absolute nowhere, 7 miles from the city limits of Louisville, out in the on the Winston County and Choctaw County line, in a little community called High Point, Mississippi. And I lived there with my mom and dad, John and Carol Mitchell, and my 3 older brothers, David, Mark, and Stephen. And my parents, John and Carol Mitchell, were very, very intentional and in great desire to teach us how to live a good life. And they were passionate about it. They weren't perfect about it, but they had a great desire to try to help us build a healthy life and a good character and a strong work ethic and some discipline and that would ultimately lead on to future success. And so one of the places where they started to teach us habits were around table manners. All right. And so listen to me. There's been all sorts of successful people who have never learned any table manners. There's all sorts of very, very unsuccessful people that have impeccable manners. So this is not a discussion about the merit of table manners. It's about habits and how habits are formed. And so we would sit in the same spot every night, and it was sort of an oval table. And so looking out to the backyard was this big bay window. And so my mom and dad's chairs, the oval table ran parallel to the bay window. So my mom and dad's chairs were facing out of the window. My brother David and Mark, the 2 oldest, they had their backs to the window. And then the 3rd brother and the 4th brother, my brother Stephen, he sat on the end closer to the kitchen. I sat on the end further away from the kitchen, and we sat in these seats every night for however many years we all lived in the house. And so my mom and dad were a big believer in us being healthy. So, I grew up. I grew up on the very tail end and the very beginning of the microwave era. We didn't get a microwave in my house until I was either a teenager or close to being a teenager. And so for my early memories, my parents were preparing these meals. So in the morning before we'd go to school, there was always a hot cooked breakfast. I have no idea what time these human beings got up and how they did it, because they were working like absolute fiends. But every morning when you'd walk into the kitchen, there would be eggs and some type of breakfast meat. There might be some oatmeal. There might be some, I shouldn't say it was every morning a hot meal. Sometimes we would have cereal, but my point is we'd sit down and have breakfast every morning. And then, of course, we were off at school during lunchtime, but at night we would come back together and we would be back again, another prepared meal, cooked meal for 6 people. And mom and dad both shared that. And so when dad, wasn't working or mom wasn't working, they really worked well together, and both were good cooks. And so we would have dinner. And so we'd sit down. And now we're in rural Mississippi. We're as far away from any type of refinement or high society or high-powered anything, but you would not know it at our little table, because our manners, it was demanded that we had good table manners. And so that was setting the table. You had to set the table and put the forks and the knives the right way. You had to, sit up straight. You had to put the napkin in your lap. no elbows on the table, all these different things that were going on. And you had to pass the food family style in the right direction, everything. And so, you know, I sort of like this. I have happy memories of this. One of my brothers doesn't have happy memory. He thinks it was kind of a military style, and that wasn't his style. But I sort of gravitated to this. This didn't bother me. Looking back on it, I was happy. But at the time, we would complain. Of course, us kids, we would complain about the maybe the rigid nature, or why do we have to do this every night? It's just us six. Can't we just relax and not worry about this right now? And so my mom would always say, "Listen, I'm preparing you. You might have dinner with the president one day." Now, the chances of us having dinner with the president from rural Mississippi, and I mean, I used to think, I was like, is she crazy? What is she talking about? Having dinner. But if you do, when you get to the White House, I want you to know what's going on. I want you to be prepared. And so then she might say, "Hey, listen, you might get invited to Buckingham Palace sometime and have dinner with the Queen." And again, I couldn't spell Buckingham Palace. I had not probably even seen a picture of the Queen at that point in time in my life, and I was thinking, this is kind of nuts. It's kind of crazy. But we did that, and so it became our table manners. This is my point. Our table manners became a habit. All right? And so over the course of my life, as I have progressed through my career, and in fact, I never had dinner with the president, but I got to shake hands with an ex-president one time, George W. Bush. We met him when we were playing out in Dallas, Texas, and he invited us out to he invited the Kentucky team out to his presidential library. And my wife, Jenna, gave him a good laugh because he had a daughter named Jenna, and he was Jenna, and he asked Jenna if she was a point guard, and she said, "Well, I probably could be." And anyway, they had a good laugh. She and George W. Bush had a good laugh. So I did meet a president, but we didn't break bread together. But as I did move through life, and I got into certain situations, I was very comfortable, eating on the side of the road on the tailgate of a truck and popping open a can of Vienna sausages and being on a construction crew and talking to the guys or on the side of a river in Boy Scouts, and we were eating sardines and Vienna sausages and saltine crackers. I was comfortable there. But also if I got into rooms where decorum mattered or it was expected, I was comfortable and I was prepared because it was a habit. So even as I'm trying to teach as Jen and I, we are not quite as fanatical as my parents were, but we are trying to teach Sailor and Presley good manners at dinner time. And we do, the four of us sit down every chance we get at night and have a family meal. And so we're, getting our hands getting the napkin in our lap and trying to use good manners. But for me, that's just habitual now. That's habitual. And so it was a helpful habit that I was able to establish. And so there's three qualities of a helpful habit. And this is what I want you to know, is that we are engaged in habits all of the time, whether we know it or not. And from the route we take to work or how we walk into a place. Have you ever been headed somewhere that had a similar start to the journey? You're driving to a spot that's maybe on the way to work, and you miss the turn because you're just so used to going this certain way to work, and it's so familiar to you. That's a habit. You forget to make that turn, or you have to turn around and go the other way because this is ingrained in your mind and in your actions. And so that's habitual. And so when that happens, that is unhelpful when we miss a turn or we don't do what we need to do because we're so used to doing that. That's an unhelpful habit. What I want to help you with today is three qualities of helpful habits. A helpful habit is conscious, intentional, and you're making progress. Those are the three qualities of helpful habits. Let's dive into that. Have you ever been driving to a destination that's on a similar path to work? Because there's a lot of us, we go the same way to work every day. We take the same route. That's a habit. It's habitual. We could basically, we feel like the car, we just put on auto cruise and the car's going to drive its way to work. That is something we're not really thinking a whole lot about. It happens to me all the time. I start going to a different destination that's on the same route of, say, going to work, and I'll miss a turn because I won't be conscious about what I'm doing. I'm just kind of lost in my thoughts, and I'm just heading down the highway, and then I'm like, I gotta make a U-turn and go the other way because I was so used to doing it and going to work every day that I was not paying attention. I was not conscious about what I'm doing. So on that trip, that habit is unhelpful because I'm not thinking about it. I'm not conscious. And so the first part of a helpful habit is conscious. I'm conscious. I am aware of what I need to do. And so I am engaging my mind, and I am aware, I make myself aware of what needs to happen and why this habit needs to be established. And that is the first quality of a helpful habit. Think of some habit you want to build. And there are a lot of bad habits out there for us to break. There's a lot of bad habits that we can get engaged in. One part when we talk about taking care of our bodies is eating. We can be very unaware of what we're eating, how much we're eating, the quality of what we're eating, and that unconsciousness can lead us to a level of health that is not optimum. And so the first step of me building a good eating plan would be to become aware that I need to be aware of what's going on here, and I need to build a habit. So then the second step is being intentional. Helpful habits are not just things that we do because we're supposed to do it. Helpful habits are the ones that we just have a clear intention about. And we have made a decision, we become aware, we become conscious of what we're doing, and now we are going to be intentional in our actions. So now, when our intent comes in, we can start to develop a plan. And so, in being intentional about our actions, are going to help us build a helpful habit. And then the third quality of a great helpful habit is that habit is helping us make progress. All right? So it is taking us closer to where we want to be. It's not about perfection, but it's about progress. If I am engaged in this habit, I'm aware of it, I'm intentional about doing it and making certain that it gets done. And then that third quality, it is helping me make progress to where I want to eventually be. And so, in such simple terms, if I am aware that my health is declining and I don't feel as good as I want to feel, and I don't have the energy to get done what I need to get done, and I want to be more healthy. As I build healthy habits, I'm aware, I'm conscious of what I need to do. I'm intentional about my plan, and I'm intentional about my actions, and I make certain that that habit is leading me closer to where I want to feel and the kind of health that I want to experience. And so, as we progress through this month of January, I want to encourage you to build some healthy habits, because that is going to show up in your life. That's going to show up in your satisfaction of life. That's going to show up in your productivity in life. That's going to show up in how people believe in you and how people start to count on you. And when you are a person that has great habits, you're going to get great, great results. And that's what this is all about for us, is we're trying to come here each and every week and help you get closer to that potential that you have, that each and every person that's listening to this, I have potential, you have potential. And one of the great, great achievements and satisfactions in life is moving into that potential, realizing that potential, resetting your potential to where you can continue to grow and get better. And you are constantly trying to step into that very best life that you can experience and that you can lead. And it helps you, it helps everybody around you. And as we continue to begin this year, or no matter what time of year you're listening to this, the quality of helpful habits, being conscious, being intentional, making progress, that is going to help you and benefit your life. So you can go to our website, coachmatthewmitchell.com, and you can get a free resource that helps you with the Ready to Win 20-Day Habit Builder. Would love for you to have that. Ready to Win, How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation. That's available anywhere you can buy books. And also, we are speaking. We have would love to come speak at your event. We are having great, great response and success with our Ready to Win workshops, where we come into your organization, come into your group, and really show you how to unlock the power of preparation. And remember, preparation will powerfully position you to win. And we would love for you to go to coachmatthewmitchell.com, set up a free call with me. We can talk about a workshop. We can talk about coaching. We can talk about speaking. But no matter what, I just appreciate you coming here each and every week and engaging with us on the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. I want you to build some helpful habits and understand how those helpful habits can really help you step into your potential and benefit your life. So thanks so much for joining us for another week, and we will see you again next week on the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. See you next time, everybody.